This TED Ed was created to help teachers see the reality of the impact of student absenteeism on the classroom and strategies that teachers can use to help entice students to come to school. These strategies can also be used with parents to help motivate all participants to encourage the importance of consistent school attendance. Here are some basic information tools and tips on chronic absenteeism. So basically, why do students refuse to come to school? School refusal behavior comes from emotion-based school refusal and truancy. A school refusal behavior comes under an umbrella term to all attempts of students to miss school. So that students may act out and complain. Students may have a school phobia. They also may have extreme anxiety. This can also be emotion-based school refusal, where they are depressed and they have social anxiety. Truancy is also another main topic of chronic absenteeism, where students are skipping school without their parents knowing. This could be because they are unengaged in school and that they lack severe emotional difficulties. Some statistics of the chronic absenteeism are 2 to 5% of students miss school because of anxiety. Things to consider are tardiness, missed classes, unexcused absences, and truancy. This leads to school refusal behavior, and it will also increase it up to 28%. A.G. Harris completed a study of 230,000 elementary school students, and 1 in 12 kids missed more than 10% of school in the 2014-15 school year. 72% of parents actually trust the teachers to discuss their child's attendance with them, but only 42% actually reported that a school official actually contacted them about attendance. So it's really important for us as teachers to talk with parents about the importance of getting their children to school and the impacts that it can have on them if they don't come to school on a regular basis. Some facts about school attendance that I find that are very alarming for us as teachers is absenteeism in the first month of school can predict poor attendance throughout the school year. Half of the students who miss 2 to 4 days in September go on to miss nearly a month of school, so it's important to catch this early. An estimated 5 million to 7.5 million students in the United States miss nearly a month of school every single year. Poor attendance can influence whether children read proficiently by the end of the 3rd grade. So being in school is really important to help them learn those skills. And by 6th grade, students with chronic absences, it becomes a leading indicator that these students will drop out of high school. Research also shows that missing 10% of school, or about 18 school days, in most school districts will negatively impact a student's academic performance. So basically that's missing 2 school days a month, and that's known as a chronic absence. Low-income students are 4 times more likely to be chronically absent than others, often for reasons beyond their control, which is hard for us as teachers to consider as well. But this could be unstable housing, unreliable transportation, and lack of access to health care. School refusal behavior factors can be in the realm of these 8 topics. So kids could refuse to come to school because of health problems, medical problems, family issues that they're dealing with at home, school difficulties, transitions coming from an elementary school to a middle school, a new school to one from an old school to a school they've never been to before, stressful life situations, socioeconomic status, and families' view on education. As teachers, we don't know the reasons or motives behind why students miss school without talking to students about it. So it's important to find the motivations or the reasonings behind why students are missing school so that communication can be made with all parties, including the parent and the student, to help overcome these factors. How real is this? Meet Zoe. Zoe has missed 5 days of school in a row. Her grades are really bad, her behavior at school hasn't been very good, and parent contact has been made. Zoe is a very young student. She appears to be very unhappy and isolated from other students when she returns to school. She sits by herself at lunch and during homeroom with her head on the table. The teacher spoke with Zoe's mother, and she reported that she was unable to get Zoe out of bed in the mornings. All she wants to do is sleep, the parent said. Zoe says that she feels self-conscious around other students, and she keeps saying that she doesn't want to go to school. So it's important to contact the parents and to meet with them or discuss the reasons why the child is being absent so that you know what to expect and how to alleviate some of that pressure for the student at school. Causes of chronic absenteeism can stem from anxiety disorders, and there are a variety of anxiety disorders that students in your classroom could be having now. They could be separation anxiety, social anxiety, just general anxiety to begin with, obsessive compulsive disorder, PTSD, physical complaints, school factors, and community influences, their family, and also transitions. And depression is a huge cause of chronic absenteeism. From the student's eye, why do they miss school? They avoid school for many situations that cause them negative affectivity, meaning fear, anxiety, depression. They miss school because of trying to escape evaluative situations like tests, speeches, athletic performances, something where they're put under pressure in front of peers. They do this to gain attention. They also could do this because they would rather pursue a desired activity, playing video games, watching TV, hanging out with their friends, which is typically truant. And then lastly, it's parent-motivated school withdrawal, meaning they're homeless, they are experiencing some type of abuse, pregnancy, and it also says, and it discusses the importance that sometimes parents don't think going to school is important. So it's important for parents and teachers to have that communication. It is also estimated that 160,000 children miss school every day due to the fear of attack or intimidation by other students. So bullying can also be a reason why students miss school. Now what? What can we do as teachers to kind of help these students get them back into the classroom on a regular basis? We need to educate the teachers, setting up rewards for student attendance, working with parents as a team to kind of facilitate reasons why they're missing school and how we can resolve them and get them back into school. Encourage anti-bullying and anti-violence in schools, making sure classrooms have a welcoming environment, encouraging students to come to school, showing sensitivity to students because you never know what they're dealing with at home, and also schedule adjustments can also be used to help students, help them accommodate more into the classroom environment. Making sure you're working as a team with counselors, teachers, parents, mental health professionals, nurses, doctors, and the student as well to help make sure that these students realize that the importance is to come to school and getting the parents on the same page as well. Interventions and treatment for students, learning how to develop coping strategies, cognitive behavioral strategies like relaxation, reducing their negative self-talk, helping them learn how to talk positively about themselves and amp themselves up to coming to school, giving them a gradual re-entry to school. Some students, if it's severe chronic absenteeism, they'll need a gradual re-entry. Giving them rewards and enticing them to come to school, giving them problem-solving steps where they're recognizing what makes them stressed about school and how they can cope with that, social skills training, goal setting, and teacher consultations with the student. It is also important for parents to have interventions and treatments to help the students come to school as well, because for us as teachers, we don't want the parent to think that we're out to get them. The attendance for the parent is a concern. It's not necessarily compliance. We don't want them to think that it's something bad or that they're in trouble for something. We want parents to recognize why absences need to be looked at by month rather than by year. So instead of saying your child has 15 absences for the school year, talk about how many absences per month, because 2 days per month has consequences in the academic standpoint. Use simple and easy to understand languages, so avoid statistics and metaphors with parents. Just be simple and straight to the point. Be realistic in expectations that you have for your student and for their child, because you can't tell the parent they have to come to school even if they're sick, because that's not realistic. Use the word absences and not attendance, because if they think that they are attending or you use the word attendance, it kind of puts a different perspective in mind for the parents. Learning is sequential, so showing the parents how it's important that the student comes to school on a regular basis so they can see how things go in sequential order and that if you miss a day, then you're behind. Gives parents the reasons why absences are important. So saying phrases like too many absences will allow them to fall behind in reading or math, or you cannot make up for too many absences with just homework and take-home assignments. You actually need to be in the classroom. It is important to incorporate parents into the curriculum, like I said, and communicate with the parents as well. There is a debate between forced attendance or gradual reentry, and there are two ways that as a school and as a team you can work together to figure out what is the best way to get this child back into the classroom. Forced attendance, getting the children to just come to school and deal with the situation throughout the day, versus gradual attendance where you take numerous steps to allow the student to feel comfortable easing them back into the transitions of everyday school life. The reality of chronic absenteeism is that it impacts student learning. So when students are not in school, they're missing out on educational and social activities and simulations. It affects their test scores. It leads to poor social development. And also, truancy can lead to court referrals for the parent. There are compulsory school attendance laws, and then it gets the social worker involved, which always gets a sticky situation between parents and the school. Parents do not understand the connection between attendance and achievement, especially in the earlier grades. So it's important for them to see how their long-term effects can really impact their student. So 2 days a month equals 18 absences a school year, which is way too many for a student to be missing throughout the school year. And lastly, what good can come out of all this? Students learn to cope with their problems. So encouraging the student, using those strategies to come to school, encouraging them can help them learn to solve their problems. It prepares them for 21st century life skills, and with early intervention and identification, it helps evade more major attendance issues in the future.